Welcome to the Never Search Alone podcast. I'm Tamara Adlin. I'm your host today and one of the many volunteers who helps the Never Search Alone community grow and thrive. Never Search Alone, the Job Seeker's Playbook, is a book by Phyl, and it describes a brand new way to handle the stresses and logistics of searching for a new job, whether you're trying to find one immediately or whether you're thinking about your future opportunities. This is our very first episode in this podcast series. It's the best place to start because we're going to talk in detail about Never Search Alone, the book, the process, the whole idea with author Phyl. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this recorded version of an introduction to Never Search Alone and the power of job search councils. My name is Tamara Adlin, and you'll see me again on the LinkedIn Live hour for job searcher community that we have every other Friday. But for today, we're focusing on the fabulous author of Never Search Alone, Phyl. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Hello, Phyl. Phyl and I have known each other for a very long time, since the early 2000s, and we're recording this intro on June 10th, 2024, and we're excited to be here with you. So Phyl, give us a little, people are coming to this maybe having heard about Never Search Alone from a friend or a colleague or out there in the ether. What the heck is this?
All right, I'm going to share the key insight that drives the whole thing, and then the three big ideas off of that. The key insight is this: no matter who you are, no matter how qualified you are, you could be the CEO of a publicly traded internet company, you could be a chief product officer, well-credentialed, pedigreed, top schools, whatever it might be, or a college student looking for your first job, or somebody looking for an early career or mid-level job. No matter who you are, at any level, with any background, when you look for a job, you tend to be lonely and isolated and be driven by some sense of fear and anxiety, right? This is true for everyone. And it's the thing we most need to address, because fear and anxiety can undermine a good job search. It can make it hard for you to make good decisions. It can put you in a position where you end up in an endless loop kind of thing. You lose confidence, you don't interview well, you don't choose well, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to address that. That is, I just got off the phone with a CEO who's well known in the internet world, who recently got a job, was on a job search council, and we talked at length about the fear and anxiety that they felt in their search and how the job search council really helped to address that. I know it's hard to believe. It is hard to believe that really smart, credentialed people with a great background and sterling resume also find this process difficult. Everybody does. And if you read the book, you'll see more than 100 stories, some of them very senior people, some of them junior people, all of them share this. So yes, I understand it's hard to believe, but it is just the truth. This book represents 25 years of working on how to make the job search more effective, how to help you get hope and confidence rather than fear and anxiety, how to help you understand a key concept we have now called the candidate market fit. All right, so let me just tell you the three big ideas in the book, powered by this insight that everyone struggles in the job search. The first is Never Search Alone, the job title. Instead, form a job search council of peers who, because we're a social species, if you just bring a small group of job seekers together who are all anxious and insecure and have them speak openly about that, that experience itself will start to convert the fear and anxiety into hope and motivation, accountability, and, drumroll please, the most important thing, confidence. Mm-hmm. And this is also hard to believe until you go through it. Now, we've run more than 1,700 job search councils, so we actually have concrete evidence that this works, but it's not just us. Of course, this is human nature. This is based on millions of years of human evolution and our sociality as a species. When you learn you're not alone, it changes your experience of something. You're not uniquely an idiot. Everyone else has this trouble. Okay.
One second. I just want to point out, this is all free. I know that there's lots of people out there selling coaching and selling solutions to the horror of job searching. But I think it's worth pointing out right here that, yes, this is the book and people either buy the book or they borrow it from a library, but there's nothing else to spend money on here. So you wrote the book. The book came out 2 years ago, and you said there's three big tenets. So the first one is never search alone and getting groups of 4 to 6 people together in a job search council, and we help match people to that. So that's the first big idea. Then I interrupted you to ask and point out it's
I
free.
love it. No, it's helpful to do this with you, Tamara. You're fabulous. And I just
Um,
want to thank you for all you've done. And all of you who are watching this should thank Tamara and the whole volunteer team, which includes many other people who are putting in literally thousands of hours a year into helping make this magic happen.
It's part of what you say, which is when you get together and you volunteer, you start to feel the feeling of helping people. And you will too, listener, when you join a job search council. And it's magical how that can make you feel great and help other people. So there is a really rabid volunteer squad, ever growing volunteer squad, because it works and it's free and it's exactly the right time with this chaos that's going on in the job search market, in tech and elsewhere. This isn't just for tech people, right?
This is for everybody.
Everybody.
Volunteers, we have public servants, everybody, government. It started in tech because we come out of that world, and it's we brought a product management lens to reinventing the job search, but it's for everyone.
You point out there's over 25 exercises in the book, and there are 3 big chunks of work. So the first chunk, again, you said never search alone. We help you get together in a job search council of 4 to 6 people. One of you is the moderator, and there's some exercises in that.
We have all kinds of tools. We have agendas for the first 10 meetings. We have various tools to help you come together. The meeting zero and building a charter and being open and vulnerable. And we're gonna keep building more tools because we're just trying to create the scaffolding that supports you to take responsibility with others to build a job search council, build a community, build a village of support around yourself so you can find the best job that you deserve. You deserve a good job. Yeah. You deserve the best job you can find. And this community is here to help you do that. All right. And that brings us really to the second big idea, which is candidate market fit. This may be the phrase that goes on my tombstone. It may be the most important phrase I've ever invented in my career. Yeah. I'm very proud of it. And it took years to figure that out, by the way. It wasn't until almost the very end of writing the book over a 10-year period that I had a thing that is now candidate market fit, but I didn't have that precise language. And it came to me at 5 a.m. one day, just before I was going to get on the phone with Marty Kagan, who wrote the foreword of the book.
Sounds like product market fit to me as a tech and product person. So
it is exactly that. That's what I realized. That's what we're talking about. Because when you're in the job search, your skills and experience, what you're bringing to the marketplace is a product. It's your product. And you have to think about, as a candidate, what is your candidate market fit? What is the intersection between both what you want and what the market wants and how the market sees you, right? Mm-hmm. Where's the market opportunity? And then how does the market see you within that opportunity? Now, one of the things that people tell me they love so much about this concept of candidate market fit is that it depersonalizes job search and the critical question of what you're qualified for. So like right now in 2024, we're still in the middle of a tech session, okay? A downturn in the tech market, which means 2 years ago, let's say if you were a chief product officer and then you left or lost your job, today you might have trouble getting a chief product officer job. You might have to take a VP of product job, right? Because it's a marketplace and there's so many more people out there that you're now competing with. And that's pushing candidate market fit down for everybody, okay? And it's not a personal statement. It isn't even a statement about your value. It's a statement about your value in this market context, given the supply-demand curve, okay? Now, what we tell you to do is first figure out what you want, and this is revolutionary for many people because they don't even think about what they want. What do you want and what don't you want, right? But once you figure out what you want, have a draft sense of that, many people don't exactly know, but you have some idea, and you certainly know what you don't want. Then you do a listening tour. This is your discovery process. This is how you figure out your candidate market fit. And it's also how you activate your network. Because you go out and ask people for help, and we have a structured set of interviews that we ask you to do. Not job interviews, listening tour interviews, where you listen to and understand, how do people see you? What do they see you as a fit for today? What's going on in the marketplace? And your job search council is going through this together, and you're helping each other go out there and have these conversations. Now, I will tell you And Tamara ran one of our earliest job search councils, and she can attest to this. The listening tour, everyone feels nervous. Oh my, what are they going to tell me? They're going to tell me bad things. That is not what happens. You discover how much support and respect there is out there for you. Now, you also may find some things that are hard to hear because of the nature of the market, not because of you. Like that, hey, you probably might not be able to get that VP of product role today. You might need to get a director of product. Or again, I'm just using those as examples. But Tamara, can you speak to that for just a moment?
When we were doing this as Job Search Council number 23, we did everything we could to drag our feet and not make those first calls because I think we were just scared of asking people to spend time on us. We were scared that they were going to tell us that our worst fears about ourselves were true. But the second we broke the ice and just emailed people that we work with or recruiters or people in interesting jobs, people love being asked for help, which is something that you pointed out, and that got the ball rolling. And it also doesn't hurt that I didn't even have to write the emails. You had written the emails for me. I just had to put in their names.
So look, most of you, your job, your skills are marketer, product management, teacher, whatever it might be, operations, general management. You have not gone through a program and a series of career steps to learn how to look for a job.
No.
Most people haven't, actually. And many people, Tamara is one of those people who's super qualified, right? She has this amazing career. She was early on at Amazon. She's written books. She's defined the persona space. You know, people look up to Tamara, and they should. And I have a lot of respect for you, Tamara. And you felt nervous, right?
Oh my God, I hit a complete wall. And that's one of the reasons I volunteered. And for me, even I was trying to figure out, do I want to go in-house? Do I want to stay a consultant? What kind of consultant am I? And I did it anyway because I knew you read the book and loved it. It helps you answer those fundamental questions about who am I, where do I fit in the market, and what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Which I found impossible to do by myself, but I think anybody else looking at me would have said, she didn't have to worry about this stuff.
Yes, candidate market fit, and we have these exercises, and then you have to really make a decision.
Yeah.
Like you have to scope it narrowly. And again, we have support and you have exercises you'll do with your job search council.
Can you help everybody understand the difference between I'm available on the market to do just about anything versus what a candidate market fit statement actually is?
Here's the thing, it's so counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, oh, the broader I am, the better it'll be. But what we've learned is that in the job search, the net doesn't work, the spear does.
Okay.
Or to put it a different way, we can extrapolate up. We can take a narrow and clearly defined candidate market fit that we'll remember, and we can expand that. We can be expansive. We can see adjacencies, right? Oh, you said you could do this. I bet you could do that.
Can you give us an example of a candidate market fit statement just so people know what you're saying?
Yeah, so I'm looking for, and again, this is going to be a tech one, but don't think this is only for tech people. Director of product at a Series B stage healthcare startup, right? So we're talking about industry, we're talking about size of company, we're talking about role, okay?
Narrow.
Narrow, right? But somebody looking at that, first of all, people can't remember. If you tell them, I'll do anything, they'll never think of you for anything. It's terrible, but it's true. But if you say, I'm looking for a director of product, a healthcare startup, Series B or so, they're going to remember that. It's very specific and clear. And then let's say a financial services, a fintech comes along. Oh, that's another regulated industry like healthcare. I bet they could probably do something like this. It's also a director of product role, or maybe it's a VP of product role, but hey, maybe they're a fit for that. So the key thing about candidate market fit is that it's memorable. And then when you get to the interview stage, like companies, because we're going to have you synchronize your LinkedIn and your resume to that fit. And then when you meet a company that's in that bullseye, that's what hiring managers want to see. That's what recruiters want to see. Recruiters love Never Search Alone because they've been saying, they haven't used the term candidate market fit, but they've been saying the same thing for years. You've got to get focused. People can be expansive, but they can't be reductive. Expansive, not reductive. Remember that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and all the worksheets that I talked about, this is something you do with your job search council over some very organized meetings that are already all scripted out for you. There's worksheets, there's spreadsheets, and it's all free.
It's amazing. And to that point, other people can see you more clearly than you. So in a recent job search council, one of the members was saying, I think I want to go for maybe I'll go for a lower level job that, doesn't have much pressure. And the whole JC was like, wait a minute, you love to work, you thrive in pressure. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, you're right. We have lots of blind spots, but we can see clearly others and they can clearly see us. And that's another benefit of the Job Search Council.
And when we can see ourselves, then suddenly now it's time to revise the resume.
Then you can go. And here's the interesting thing. People sometimes say, gosh, this is a lot of work and it's going to slow me down. Actually, our data shows that the average length of time from beginning a Never Search Alone search on a Job Search Council to getting a job is 3 months. Now, across the United States, across all things, the average time is 3 to 6 months. So we're on the low end of the average, okay? So this is not gonna, it's gonna slow you down to speed you up.
Yep.
You go slow to go fast, right? These are design principles that many people are aware of in various contexts. We've just applied it to the job search. Okay, the final thing, and I will tell you, in some ways, this is the most difficult of the three. Yep. 50% of the people who go through the program do not do this. 50%, okay, do not do this. And I like to call it boss the process, but I might actually start calling it collaborative interviewing and negotiating. And the reason, Tamara, you like that term?
Love that. I love it.
That term is because what I have found is that people, when I talk to them about how to interview and negotiate, they think I'm telling them to do a hardball thing. People just assume if they negotiate at all, it's like hardball. I'm about as far from hardball as you can get. If you haven't picked that up yet, let me tell you, that's true. And Tamara, you can validate that. It's collaborative interviewing and negotiating, and it uses a single tool that might be pound for pound the best tool in the whole book. It's called a job mission with OKRs. Now, that might sound like gobbledygook. Now, again, if you're in the tech world, you've heard of OKRs. That's an acronym, that's jargon for objectives and key results. Job mission is just a way of thinking about the job description. And here's the magic. I tell you, when you begin interviewing, and even before your first interview, I want you to look at their job description and I want you to write your own version of it, okay?
Yep.
Try to just, because most companies actually are bad at knowing what they want, and their job descriptions are often too abstract. They're not clear in terms of what you're going to be measured on, what you're going to be accountable for. So you start to create that, and that surfaces good interview questions. That's bonus number one. And it's a good engaging interview that makes you more interesting and competitive as a candidate. Once you've had a couple of interviews and you have a draft, not a final, but a draft version of your job mission with OKRs, I ask you to do a meeting with the hiring manager. And I want you to say, hey, I've thought about this role and I'd like to talk to you to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. Then once you're in a Zoom or in a coffee or whatever it is, show them the job mission with OKRs, okay? Don't email it to them ahead of time. Show it to them when you're meeting. It'll blow them away. Be like, what? You did, this is amazing. I was talking to a CEO recently. He's been written up in books. He was very prominent. He was not CEO, but very prominent at Amazon for a long time. He worked at a number of other great companies. And when I was talking to him about this, he said, Phyl, I've interviewed thousands of people. And the question we always have, is this person going to take real initiative? Are they going to actually be able to produce things? And it's hard to tell in the interview. And not a single person has ever done what you've described, but if they did, it would have blown me away. And this is, you are not antagonistic when you're doing this. You are relieving them. You're giving them the sense that you can take initiative and you can do things without even being asked. That's like nirvana for bosses, right? So they're going to love it. They're going to also tell you, okay, yeah, this isn't so much a part of the job, but that is, or good point, this and that. This will then increase the odds of getting a job, right?
If it's right, because the other thing that can happen is that your job search council can say, this looks like a job that you said you would hate.
They revamped it, and this isn't, you're doing product operations. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to do strategy and blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. So yes, it can, and it's very, are you open to, you're offering 100,000, I was really hoping for more like 110. Is that possible? Tell me how you're thinking about it. And most of the time they're like, yeah, and maybe they can't do the 110, but they'll give you the 105. And there's equity and other things. But remember, companies have a whole bunch of lawyers and human resources consultants. They have a whole army to help them figure out how to hire and make offers. Who do you have? If you're alone, it's just you. But you have your job search council, right? You have the people in your network that you spoke to in the listening tour. You have this whole village behind you that you can go to and ask for help real time in those critical moments. Okay. But the key thing here is I want you to get set up to succeed, because I don't want you to just get a job. And I don't want you to just get a good job. I want you to get a good job where you can rock and roll, because that will change everything for you in your career. I'm not as worried so much about the money in the short run. The money will follow with the result. Now, I still encourage people to ask, but I really care about the things that will set you up to succeed. That is not talked enough about in the whole world of job search. And it's a really important thing that you can get being part of the Never Search Alone community.
That's what makes you happy. And this is a great time to moment to note that once you're in a great job, you don't stop thinking about your career. In fact, with job search councils, you can be on a fast search council, which we've been describing, where you need to get a job immediately, or you can be on a slow search council, which is the same process, but maybe not meeting every week or whatever cadence you decide on, but you're continuing to actively think about yourself, where you fit, your career, your next steps.
And the slow seekers almost all have jobs. They have jobs, but have decided they want to look, or they've decided they at least want to understand what's possible, right?
Yeah.
So they do more, I call them slow seekers because they can't meet as often because they have a demanding day job typically.
Yeah.
And we do both, as Tamara said. And by the way that we structure the job search councils is more or less peer level, and it's close to geography. It depends on the applications that we get. We try to pair you up with peers, but that doesn't mean everybody necessarily is marketing or engineering or product or whatever it might be. It's more like tenure level, but we do separate slow seekers and fast seekers, people in jobs and people out of work, because the rhythms are so different and it's hard to have both on the same council.
This is a great moment to tell you all who are listening where you can find out more information. As you've heard, this is all based on Phil's wonderful book, Never Search Alone, which came out around 2 years ago. It's lovely, and it's a new way of thinking, tons of great examples and stories, and also like a syllabus for a job search council you can create on your own, or we can help you create one.
So it's a movement, and it's bigger than we are. We're just trying to, do what we can to provide some support and infrastructure, but it's on everybody else who's doing this, and they're making magic happen. It's really amazing.
So where you go is phyl.org, phyl.org. I'll put that up in the subtext or something, and you'll find there you can apply to be in a job search council, and we will help match you. You can for free. You can say, oh, I created my own job search council. Tell us about it so that we can give you a number and give you access to all the free tools, the huge Slack channel, the giant free workbook for participants, the amazing moderator guides for people who hold their hands up and say, I'm willing to moderate, the support meetings, the orientation meeting, everything is completely free. So phyl.org, you'll also see recordings of videos that we did during the LinkedIn Lives. And we're transitioning that from an intro to an hour of community for job seekers every 2 weeks. And so we're encouraging everybody to come to those. And you can come to those anytime you want. Just follow Never Search Alone community on LinkedIn. And Phyl, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I just want people to know we're continuing to iterate and improve this. I've done 3 slipstream adjustments to the book since it came out. I haven't heralded, it's not a new edition, it's just constant iterations and improvements. We're continuing to build new tools. It's a vibrant, fabulous community, and we're here for you. We're a community with a heart and smarts, and we'd love to have you be a part of it.
This passion that you're seeing is really real. It's really for something free, and we're so glad you found it. And we hope to see you soon on a Job Search Council. Thank you so much for joining us. This podcast and all of our other episodes feature conversations recorded during our Never Search Alone LinkedIn Live shows, hosted by yours truly, and they happen every other Friday on LinkedIn. Like everything else in our community, they are free to everyone. For more information on everything related to Never Search Alone, including our many free tools and the option to register and be matched on your own free job search council, visit phyl.org, phyl.org, and you can also join and follow the Never Search Alone community and Phyl Terry on LinkedIn, where you'll get notifications about our free LinkedIn Live events, and I hope to see you there. In this episode, I interview a couple who are both searching for jobs at the same time. And as you'll hear, each of them decided to join their own job search council, which helped them get the additional support and the outside perspective that's so helpful that you can't always get from the people closest to you. And it also helps to spread the burden of support away from just your direct family members or those closest to you to a set of peers that are outside that network and can help you see yourself clearly. You'll also get to hear their great ideas about doing their own daily stand-up in their own house and putting sticky notes up on windows to help them plan their personal and professional goals for the entire week. It's really fun to hear how they adopt this common teamwork and planning process to manage their own personal and professional goals together. Let's get started.